I wanted to give you some tips on creating this the bearing seat. The textbook, let's see, the textbook shows it like this, and we're going to draw it and create a section view through it. And in all honesty, the front view what is shown right here is the front view. The book gives it to you, but realistically, it's confusing because you've got all of these visible lines here for this slot, and you got all these hidden lines through here. So it's just really a confusing view. So we wouldn't be using that. Now, to create this one, start your, you could certainly do a revolve of the main body of this, but it's just as easy, it's easier just to extrude a cylinder and then put a hole through it. So start your first sketch on the top plane, okay? And I used the cylinder command right here. Anytime I've got to do a box or a cylinder, I use that, especially starting out, and center it on the origin on the 0, 0 point, extrude your cylinder, and then place a counterbore hole through it. Okay. Extrusion 2, I did the top, which would be at the top up here, and I just sketched it. Show you the sketch here. I just sketched it and dimensioned it like this. It's aligned. Dude, it says I need 1 dimension. Wow. Okay, so I can, a vertical constraint should work. Let's see. Oh, already exists. I'm not sure what dimension I'm missing. Well, I got to look at this. That's not what I want. There we go. Show constraints. I got parallels. I got verticals. Tangent. That's weird. I don't know what I'm missing. Let me see. Missing a tangent on the left side. Okay. Okay, I'll go with that. Okay, so there's my sketch. I extruded it to the height that I needed and then added the hole at the end there. And extrusion number 3, you could do the lower one on the right or the one on the left. Doesn't matter. It's just they are at different angles. So if we look back at the textbook, you'll see here, this one is 45 degrees down from the horizontal. This one ends up being, I want to say 30 degrees down. So it's probably better for you to start with the one on the left. I started with the one on the right without even thinking about that. So either way is fine. The sketch will be the same either way. Okay, so let's look at the sketch. I drew a construction line for the center of it, and I honestly I don't remember if I've covered this yet or not, but this little button right here changes whatever geometry or dimensions or whatever it is you're placing into a construction feature. And this is one of the few times that we'll use construction lines in Inventor. Most of the time we don't. We just use dimensions and constraints. So I turn that on, go to my line command, and I start it from here. And we'll just say I'm going to draw it out. And you notice it makes it a dashed line. And then you would dimension that line. Okay, and you have to give it a length dimension, or Inventor's going to tell you you're missing a dimension. Which in my case, I'm missing 1 dimension here, and it's the length of this construction line. Okay, So I make a construction line, set it at the angle I need, which if you go from the right, it's 30 degrees. If you go from the left, if you're drawing your feature over here, it'd be 45 degrees down. Um, and then draw your lines here for your feature and dimension everything, get it all set up, and then extrude it. And then you can do a circular pattern. And the way a circular pattern works, I honestly I don't remember if this has been covered in the tutorials in this class, so I'm just going to hit it real quick. So we go circular pattern. You select your features, which in this case I selected this feature. It's all grouped together now, so it makes it kind of difficult for me to do that. But you would select your feature, and then you select your rotation axis that you're going to rotate the stuff around. And in this case, it's the y-axis. So I can expand over here and select my y-axis. Okay, tilt it up now, you can see it in the video there. That'll be the rotation that I want. Then you tell it how many instances total that you want, and in our case we wanted 2. And then you have to tell it what degrees, and the book shows 105 degrees. You can change which direction it's going here, rotating left, rotating right. Okay, so let me expand the command here and you can see what I did. Okay, so I selected the feature on the right. I needed 2 units at 105 degrees, and then it rotates it for me. Okay, and after I've got all my models in, my features in, now I come back and apply my fillets. And most of the time, Inventor is really good about applying fillets, but sometimes you have to change the order in which you are applying them. So in my case this time, I did all of the vertical fillets at one time, and then I came back and I did all the horizontal fillets. Okay, and that seemed to work, pretty good. Now for your drawing, like I said, this front view is confusing, so it's irrelevant. So let me start a new sheet and I'll show you how we can do that. So we'll go with our base view, and I don't want the front view as my base view. So I come up here to my view cube and flip it up. I want the top view to be my base view. Okay, and so we'll say okay. I'm going to move it over here a little bit. And I want to create a section view through there. So let's go section. And because that's the only view I've got, okay, I'll select that. Now, if I hover my mouse, don't click, just hover over it until I get that vertical snap. Come up just a little bit, and then come down. I went up and clicked. To the origin, click again. Come to the right, make sure you're going through the center of the hole. Left click again, then right click my mouse and continue. And then drag my section view over. Okay, now in this case, it's calling it view B because this is the second view that I've created in this project. Yours should be view A. If you've done one and made a mistake and deleted it and then came back, so you'll need to rename that as section A. Okay, and so now you've got excuse me, you've got your section view, and this makes a lot more sense than the front view with all those hidden lines and stuff. And you can dimension your depth, or in this case, actually the height of it. You can dimension the depth of the rib there and then the total height there. So here you would apply your center lines. Now the center line here is from, you can't really get a projection here across. And geez, let's see. Let me look at my I didn't even put any marks there either. I think we'll pass on the center lines for there. But anyway, you can place center lines here and center lines in this hole here, and then your center marks over here for those holes, and then your dimensions. Now, if you need an isometric view from here, let's look and see what it will do. So if we come up that way, we get something that doesn't really show the way the object looks. Okay, so we want to see that. So here's where, having that front view down here would work. So let's delete that, and we'll just apply a second base view. And what we'll do is we'll click the corners of our view cube until we get the isometric view that we want. And that's the base view that we want. And so I'll go ahead and make my changes here and go OK. And now I can select it and move it up here out of the way. And now I've got my isometric view. Okay, so I think that we'll cover a lot of the stuff here for this drawing that you need. Let me look. Oh, the center line pattern for that. Yeah, okay. So I'll go back, and we've covered it once. I'll reiterate it again. Where'd it go? Here we go. Centered pattern. I'll click this circle as my center of it. And for a location, let's click that circle, this arc, and then come back and finish on that circle. Okay, so that got it created. And when we've got a cutting plane, it's good practice to, let me click and create that before I mess things up. Select those center marks. What's happening? And when we have a cutting plane, it's good practice to drag those center lines down that are in the same place as the cutting plane so that you don't have lines going through the lines of your cutting plane. And some of you can only get drug down to certain distances, but that's a good way to do it. All right, if you've got questions, send me an email or come to the lab and get some help with it, okay?